And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Caravan from Rio Grande Games, which has, if you look real close at the R in Caravan, it's a camel's head. Other than that, I looked at the front of the box and was like, oh, camels. And again, it's camels moving goods from one spot to another. We've seen those before, but what I want to say about Caravan is it's a game that literally has 2 pages of rules. And they could have even made that shorter if they wanted to. It's a very simple game about moving goods from one camel to the other, except camels don't move when there's goods on them. They're moving them, you're transporting them along a line of camels. It's a very interactive game. Here's how it plays. So the board is going to be set up this way, and you're going to be pulling good cubes from the bag and randomly putting them on these 8 spaces. The outer 4 corners will have a coin placed on those also. They're demand markers, essentially. They're going to be worth a point at the end of the game. Each player is going to get a certain number of camels, and the number of camels will definitely be how hard the game is. So you're going to play normally with 5 camels. You could play 6, but the game is easier that way. The first player gets 1 action, the second player gets 2 actions, and eventually, after the 4th player gets 4 actions, everybody has 4 actions on their turn. So one of the actions that you can do is put a camel anywhere on this board. So I can put a camel there, I can put a camel here. That'd be 2 actions, 3 actions, 4 actions. That's allowable. If you put a camel where somebody else is, that's going to cost you 2 actions. If I put a camel where a good is, I can spend 1 action to pick the good up. And you're just going to put it on the camel's back like this. You can also move a good, and so this is where the crux of the game is. When you move a good, you're going to move a good from one of your camels to another camel that's connected in a line. So I could do this. That's a legal move to move it there. I could have also moved it to this camel, and you know, it's up to me which camel that I move it to. But if the camel already has a good in it, you can't move to that camel. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to set your camels, you know, I'm 1 action, 2 action, 3 actions here, and then my 4th action, and move it down here where it will be delivered. Once you deliver a good, you're going to place it on your board in the spots. Pink, greens, grays, and purple goods are worth 6 points each at the end of the game. Reds, blues, browns, and whites, or salt, hides, swords, and meat, are worth 3 goods at the end of a turn. If you pick a good up that has a demand marker in it, you're going to get an extra point. And every time there is less than 4 goods on the table, so let's say, you know, the blue camel goes here and picks one up, and the green camel picks this one up. Now there's only 4 good markers that aren't picked up. At that point, you'll immediately draw 4 more goods from the bag and put them on the empty spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And the ones that are still on the board are going to have a demand marker. So if it's a hard one to get somewhere, like this green one might be hard to get over here, but eventually there might be enough demand markers on it that you say, you know what, I'm going to go there and pick it up just to get the demand markers. But there's no way to drop goods, there's no way to get rid of them, but there is one final action. You can steal from another player. That just costs you 1 action. You just take the good and you put it under your camel to show that it's been stolen. You do that because it can't be stolen twice in a row. I can't steal from you, then you steal right back from me. Once you move it to another camel, then it goes back on top. And you can't hold one on your back and have one stolen at the same time. But when you steal, each player starts the game with one of these tokens here. A stealing token, a theft marker. When I steal from you, I give this to you, and I can't steal if I don't have one of those, while anyone who's been stolen from will now have 2. Or if you're stolen from multiple times, you'll have multiples of them to steal from the other players. This will continue until all the goods are pulled from the bag, and then the next time someone delivers a good, the end of the game is triggered. You're simply just going to get points as they're listed here. 6, 3, and 1. And if you have goods picked up at the end of the game, you'll look at the goods that are on your camels, and you'll get a penalty based on how many goods you've picked up. So if you have 4 goods, you'll lose 6 points. Most points is the winner. The components for the game are fine. You know, these are just typical cardboard counters for the coins and the theft markers. I don't mind the board. I mean, it's a little weird to see these big giant, they look like pearl necklaces there, but it also makes it very easy to distinguish what colors where. I never wonder about that. And you can, you know, they have the different symbols there. The main thing is these camels. It's really cool, you know, as they sit there, and you can put the good in them. Like that, and they're pretty sturdy. They can walk around with the good. Well, you can't walk with the good on them. You can just move it to another camel, and the camels are pretty easy to distinguish. The game also comes with a cloth bag to pull the cubes, and then there's these boards. There's not a lot of components, but they're fine. They work well. I really enjoy Caravan. The quickness of the game. It says 45 minutes on here. It's only 45 minutes if you're playing with 4 players and they're all playing very thinky. It's probably a half-hour game other than that. It's really quick. You're deciding what you're going to do, where you move things to. If the pink cube is close to the pink delivery thing, that's obviously what you're going to do, but someone else might want to do it too. And if they steal it from you first, you can't necessarily steal it back right away. You can put a camel in a spot to make it more expensive for someone else to go there. But mostly, you will put a camel here, and then you put all your camels out on the board, all 5, and move a cube from one to the other, and then move the camels again and do it again. But if you spend your long time moving one cube all the way across the board, someone else might deliver cubes faster. So it's just really back and forth. And honestly, I think the game's best with 4. It plays fine with 2 and 3, but there's the most interaction with 4. Now, I said you could play with 6 camels to make it easier. I cannot emphasize how much easier that makes the game. For some reason, that 5 camel length really is like, oh. And if you're not careful and you put too many goods on camels, those camels can't move when there's a good on them. So you either have to let that get stolen off of them, which I doubt someone's going to do deliberately, or you're going to run into problems as you try to move the other camels to where they need to go. It's a really neat idea. And thematically, I'm not quite sure why the camels can't move when the thing are and why they pass it. It is essentially an abstract strategy game of getting things from one spot to another. And there is luck as the goods come out of the bag. Sometimes the good comes out of the bag, you have your camels set up already, and you're like, what? My line's there. But I don't think luck wins you the game. Now, I don't think this is any heavy game, but it can be played, and some of the heavy Euro gamers in my group really have enjoyed it. They've really been able to, think upon it and delve more deeply into it. But I thought it was a neat idea. I wasn't sure what more could be done with the camel and the desert type thing. But this is a nifty thing, plays pretty quickly, and gives you kind of a crunchy little game in a short period of time. So I like it. That's Caravan. Dice Tower Judgment, approved.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.